Robinhood Capitalists. I'm your host, DJ Flores. With me, as always, my coach and mentor, Coach Stacy B. Coach, do you have a good Thanksgiving?
It was fabulous. A really good Thanksgiving, lots of family fun and just lots of good things. How about you?
It was great. It was the
Yeah.
different. There's a lot of firsts for my family, so especially my mom. First time in 43 years she didn't cook a turkey. First time me and Maggie being together, she's ever cooked a turkey. So it was amazing, but yeah, it was different. It was different, but nice. It's kind of
Yeah.
relaxing, not to have to go visit everybody, but just do your thing. We've never done that, so it was different, but it was
Yeah.
fun.
If you remember, my wife and I, we've known each other forever since first grade,
Yeah.
and we grew up about 21 miles apart. So there was about 14 or 15 at that house, at her mom's house, and then there was another 20 or so at my mom's house. And we kind of worked between the two, so there was three turkeys between the two houses that were cooked, and so lots of good food, lots of good fun, and a lot of time spent in a deer stand, but I didn't take a shot, so it's all good.
No.
I took a lot of
Uh,
shots with the camera, but not with the gun.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I was like, look at what he gets to do today. This is awesome. so so obviously we got some crazy things going on. I do want to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to my daughter, my oldest daughter, Abby. So cheerleading at Washington University. What a game! First off, oh my goodness, it was a nail biter. Shout out to the coaches for giving that kid a scholarship. The kicker deserved it. That was oh my goodness.
What
Let
a
me tell you.
game.
But I got to give a special shout out. So this is Abby with Jag, the winner of Big Brother. Any Big Brother fans out there? Jag and Bowie Jane from Big Brother, most recent Big Brother. So that was one of me, Maggie, and Abby's things to do was always watch Big Brother, and she got to not only take a picture, and it was funny. So before the game started, Maggie didn't get to watch the game because she was working, but she seen Jag was there because he had graduated from there, and so she was like, "Look, Jack's even there," and then I get this picture with Abby at the end of the game that she sends me in the shout out. Thank you, Abby, for sharing that. It was, I mean,
Pretty
literally,
cool.
she sent it right after the game. I'm like, "Aren't you celebrating still?" Like the stands. How did you even send that picture so fast? I mean, the stands cleared. It was crazy because they were at home. I mean, it was
Yeah,
nuts.
and it was such a good game. The normally Washington State wouldn't be big on my list, but James Madison, that was one of the wins they needed to sneak into a bowl game, and so I was watching that one with great interest, and it was a lot of fun. Good game.
It was. It really was. But yeah, thank you, Abby, for sure. And thank you, Jag and Bowie J, for taking that picture with her. You made her day for sure. But
That's
um,
awesome.
it was awesome. It was awesome. But yeah, so again, really want to get started on this. We want to just get into more stories. I think the next few shows we want to share just more of our experience, kind of what we've been through. Obviously, you and your 20 plus years with with the grandfather of franchising. And taxes. I mean, can't we just say it? I mean, Mr. JTH, John Hewitt, your experience with him has. I mean, we've talked some stories, and again, we've been doing this now 7 months. We really haven't even backstage shared much of our stories, I guess, and experience. So this will be fun to share this even live and just question and go
Yeah,
through more
we've been
deeper
sharing everybody
questions.
else's, not so much
We
our own.
we have, and we actually what sparked this and this idea for this, I guess, the end of the year, because we do have some big things going on with Steth.io and the tax wallet and some other big things. So really changing and revamping of the show, guys. But we really just wanted now with so many podcasts and so many people coaching, we there's a lot of people coaching through other people's experiences, and I think Alex is talking. Hormozy's talking a lot about this. They're using a lot of his strategies to then coach and share it as their experience and never experience these things themselves. And one thing from Rich Dad that I got that really I was grew fond of and was like, yes, that was one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki nailed was listen to people who are doing that themselves, not somebody who's just teaching it or selling a service and never actually had used their service. And so anybody who's selling a product or service, I'll tell you right now, if you don't own it or aren't using it yourself, you're hurting yourself, because that is one will give you the belief in your product. That's a Zig Ziglar thing that I learned. That's Zig Ziglar 101. Learn from that, but and that's really just a proof of what you are offering to other people you believe in. If you're not using it yourself, how can you offer it to somebody else? So that was a no-brainer that Robert really tied. But Alex is kind of he's been tough about it, and I get it. He's made quite a name and quite a journey through what he's shared so far. And there are a lot of people who haven't experienced these things but are kind of selling the philosophies through the theory. Well, if you follow this idea, it'll work. But they've never really done it. So we figured this next few shows, we'll just get into the crazy ideas and experiences we've had through, again, the Liberty Tax story, which is just insane. For over 4,000 offices, 12 years, and just the growth and what you guys have done was. I can't wait to share the stories.
Yeah.
I mean, even just
wild times.
I can't wait. It's I can't wait to get into some of those stories because I've heard some from John himself of just the different interviews and different things like that and experiences of being in these clubs and these just crazy experiences. So I know there was a lot of crazy fun times. So I want to get into that, and then just
high growth is always fun. when your business is in that part of the cycle, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. And so, I want to share some of that and get into some of that so people know kind of where your coaching comes from. Because obviously, new business owner with Focal Point, but man, your experience and helping these new business owners tackle the Liberty experience and really grow and see that growth. I want to share that. And then we got to talk a little bit, like I said, backstage of some of my experiences. And you were like, dude, your life is like a soap opera. I'm like, okay, I've heard that a lot of times. Like, let's share some of these stories. So I really have. I am not just crazy on the show. I'm this crazy in real life. I've tried a lot of crazy things. I've lived the way I would tell people not to live. It's been jumping off a lot of cliffs with no parachute, hoping for nets, which is what I will say. But it's, again, I believe
when
a lot
you
of
jump,
life.
you don't hope for a net. You just build the wings on the way down. You just know you can do it.
You just expect it's going to happen, I guess. And you get a lot of bumps and bruises along that journey. But again, I think at least my life and the route I took, I think mistakes are the best learning tool. Anytime things were going right or was working, I wasn't really learning. It was the mistakes. And I think the biggest thing I learned, I wish I would have learned it a lot sooner, like Alex did in life, but it was learning from other people's mistakes are a better way to do this. So either paying for courses, paying for coaches like Coach over here and his experiences,
And
or just or just joining a franchise where they have already learned those mistakes, those bumps, those bruises. I wish I would have learned it sooner, but that's the way to go. And so I want to really share some of our stories so they can benefit from that, but then just kind of get it out there what we've done. So I guess let's get into this. We'll start the song, and then because we can't start this without starting the song. But again, another thing we're going to do too, guys, is that we won't have these intros this long. We're going to really revamp it so it's very intentional, very to the point of what we want to get through the episode. So it won't be long-winded, although it will be hard for us. We will stay on point, I promise. But we're going to try to stick to 28 minutes on these live shows too.
I promise to do my best. I don't promise to not be long-winded.
I'll keep you focused, and I'll try to stay not so winded as well. But we'll get to the intro and let's get this going.
You get one heartbeat song. Take it seriously. This is your masterpiece. Don't forget to dream and taste the colors in the air you breathe. It's your masterpiece. Go ahead and feel it all. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful.
I love that. I do love that too. So obviously did want to start with these stories and things, but uh, I think I think really what I wanted to get out of these next few episodes, Coach, was just so that they can see like there's been a lot of experience and a lot of lessons learned, like even through the crazy decisions, bad decisions, rough decisions, whatever anybody wants to say about it. I think I really do believe that through my life now, life is like the game of life. If you think of the game of life, or even again, this cash flow game is very much designed like the game of life, and there's paths you can take. I took the my parents. I was blessed to take this very college prep and driven road the whole time. I mean, even my high school, I didn't have private high school, private grade school. It was very I didn't know until really getting with Maggie and kind of going through like our oh, you didn't have cooking? No, cooking. What are you talking about? You didn't have mechanics? What? That would have been awesome. No, I didn't have that. It was just more school and more credits, and we had a lot of credits and a lot of, and there was the church mixed in, and so I got a lot of feeding of that. And I think I want to thank my parents for that because I think that foundation of like there was always a theology class or something about Jesus, about the history of Jesus and the stories of the Bible and strong Bible, obviously background from private schools are usually some sort of Christian base or religion base. And so hearing that, I was always looking for that, but never finding that. And I think that was a struggle too. I was like, hey, why? I'm trying to be this, but I was such a hard critic to myself as well through that. Um, and I think there is no right way is what I learned. like you're gonna take a path, whatever the path is, it's gonna be a tough path or an easy path, but there has to be toughness in it. Is what I think. Like I learned the most was the grind had to be there, otherwise the lessons weren't there. Does that make sense?
No, totally. The easy path rarely leads to anywhere good. We know that. A lot of times the easy path are some of those really bad choices we make when we do things that they're not intentional sometimes, and
Mhm.
that just kind of lead us down a road we probably would look back and say, I wish I hadn't have gone down that road. And so the path, it's the reason they call it the path least taken, right? It's the reason John Maxwell says that the road to success is all uphill, and generally there's toll booths all along the way as well, because you've got to pay the price to get to the top of the mountain. But so no,
I
so
love that.
I think you're right. And you were talking about how you've learned through failure and learned through the hard times, and as we were in backstage, and that is, I mean, it's the greatest learning model for human development that there is. And we start from the time that we're babies. We learn to walk by trying, failing, reassessing, trying again. And that learning model is still the greatest learning model. As we get older, and all of our brain forms, and we can make some more intentional decisions, we can start to learn from the mistakes of others. We can make that conscious choice. But even then, as humans, you can tell me exactly what I'm supposed to do, I'm still going to do something different, most likely, and have to learn on my own in some things. So the key is overcoming the fear and just trying stuff,
Mhm.
um, and taking that step in a direction that's going to get you closer to where you really want to be, even though it's scary, even though it's not going to go right, even though it's going to be hard. Um, Kennedy, in the speech, we're going to the moon speech, we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard, right?
Yeah,
That's why you do anything worth having.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree. And I think that's why I'll get into. So I don't know what really spurred me at such a young age to, because I don't know that any. My dad did start a remodeling business, but I don't remember when that was compared to when we started the teen dance club. So I don't know if it was before that or after that. But so age of 21, got this crazy idea because me and
So
my
was it so
brothers,
so was it your idea? Where did the idea come from to do a teen dance club?
So I'll tell you. So oldest of four. Me and my brothers had a thing for back in the day. Again, this is pre-internet, you guys. So there was only so much for kids to do, and if there wasn't dance clubs, they were getting in trouble on the streets. And so we went to dance clubs, and me and my brothers would go. And there was this one. Shout out. I don't think they still exist, but back in the day, it was huge. It was called Jamming in the Heights. So it was in Cleveland. It was in Garfield Heights, and that's why it was called Jamming in the Heights. But it was out of a Knights of Columbus, out of a hall, and people were running it. So I don't know why at the age of 21, I'm like, hey, I could do that. Uh, so back up though, I was DJing at funny, but
Yeah.
DJ, yes, I was DJ the DJ, but I was DJing. I started DJing at 18 for this place down the street called Karaoke Candy Store, and we shout out to you guys. They were amazing back in the day. But so they would also hire people who rented equipment from them to DJ. So I started DJing from them for them, and then was like, hey, you're renting out the equipment. What if I rent the equipment from you? I ran out of Knights of Columbus and we started Teen Dance Club. And so that was literally how the idea was born. And so me and my brothers, I came up with it. I'm like, so I literally at the age of 21 just had Kobe, and that's where the name came from. So it's called the Club Kobe Jam. Kobe Jam came from his name, Kobe James, just took off the E and the S. So it's Kobe Jam. We started it, and this is actually one of the stamps. And this is one of the lessons we learned. And that's kind of, I guess, what I'll get into. But so pre-internet, again, how do we start this? I'm 21 with my brothers. My one brother's 20. My other brother's 17. I think he was 17 at the time. Yeah, probably 17 or 16 at the time. How do we start this teen dance club? Because it was just us, really. And then my parents got pulled in because they had to be the adults. Really, like, who are these kids running this thing? Because literally, we got it so busy. And this is what's funny. We got it so popular and so busy. We were at max capacity before we even opened, before we could technically open. Then we'd have a line, but we had to stop because the kids were outside. We couldn't let them in, and then they were causing problems in the neighborhood because they had nowhere to go. So parents were dropping them off outside, thinking they're coming in, and we can only have so many people in. So it was crazy. But we even went from 1 day a week to twice a week. So then we were going to try the whole weekend. We're like, what do we do? Like, how do we make this so people can enjoy it? Because we knew it was working. But how do we start this thing? We didn't pay for zero advertising. We had zero money. I had just enough money to rent the hall and the equipment and pay for the stuff that we sold there. So
And so did you continue as the DJ for the club?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was me and my brothers who did the DJing the whole time, actually. So it was me and my brothers who DJ'd, and we ended up hiring some local friends, family, security. We ended up it got so big. Here's how crazy it got. It got so big. My mom was on the news, and that's when we had to stop. We were like, okay, this is getting out of hand. And literally, we were just trying to create a place I mean, there's nothing bad that ever happened. We over policed it probably, because this is who we were. But so we knew where bad things could go wrong. So we kind of over double and triple checked those things. But so we made sure there was no problems. But we ended up even having one of our cops brought a person from the news with a hidden camera. We were on the news. Like, that's how crazy it was. But yeah, it was
So now,
insane.
what was okay? A couple of things here. What was the hidden camera? What were they looking for? Were
So
they trying to
so
catch you in something bad?
they were trying to catch us in something bad going on. The highlight of the whole news story was Dirty Dancing. That Now think of this in the same as the movie Dirty Dancing. That was the most extreme, like it was, and that's what we were on the news for. It was Dirty Dancing. But yeah, it was unbelievable. It was probably the craziest time of my life. Doing it is very small, very family business. Again, very simple. But the why it worked and what I learned from that was what I took my whole career was guerrilla marketing, the way we marketed. We went to schools. There was no social media. That would have been a lot easier. Back then, me and my brothers, to give you some background, and again, this might be giving too much. So anybody watching, I'm sorry. But me and my brothers back in the day, we were probably the pre-Jackass people. Like we had camcorders, we would record stupid things and doing crazy, never bad things, never hurting anybody, but like dumb things. To the point that shout out Jeremy. So Jay Rath, he goes by now, but he ended up really going full next level with it. Ended up creating a band called Added Effects, but it was the boy band era of NSYNC. NSYNC used to watch our videos before every show. That's how crazy it was. That's so we would have blown up the internet. There was no internet. We would have blown it up. Let me tell you, they were watching our videos before every show. Again, shout out to you guys for doing that.
So yeah, not to age you, what year was this all going on?
In sync. It was not so this was 2001. It was so I was 21. We started Teen Days Club. Yeah. My oldest, he was born January 11th of that year. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now before that, with your dad's other company, did you work for the company for him?
Oh
or
yeah.
With him?
Yeah. So that was true, and that's where I really learned that I couldn't be, who we talked to and who we're trying to I guess help them understand, like, are you creating just a high paying job for yourself, or do you really want a business? That was my dad and a lot of people I've worked for. They just they knew a niche, they knew a background in the field, but they didn't really understand business or want to grow or trust employees or deal with the failures of, well, they can't do it as good as me. And that was where I kind of butted heads first, was my dad. My brother was working at a company called Rock Tops, and this is like the true Enron story, y'all. Literally, this company was a fly-by-night company that would come in, and they were selling the heck out of granite. Again, pre-internet days, so like people got they there's some games, y'all. But and so they would come, and they came in, and they blew up, man. They were doing, I think, $1 million plus a month in granite sales. Granite, that was all they were selling. Granite sales throughout Cleveland, just blowing it up. My brother, and so from me and my brother, he was at the age he was working there. I was in between things and trying to help my dad. And so we're like, hey, how can we get you more business? So then we got into doing all the tear outs. So then we started doing all the tear outs for them and all the plumbing and the connections and all that stuff. And then I was like, okay, man, we're getting so much business. We need to hire people. That was the first. He didn't want to trust anybody. He didn't want to hire anybody. Nobody could do it as good as him. He doesn't trust it. Our company's called Perfection Remodeling. Not a chance. Okay, crap. And so that was when I finally, like, my vision of what we could do with it was bigger than where they could take it. That's where I figured out, okay, I'm different, but I know what's going on. But I just had this passion for business, and yeah, it was
so that's an early age. You've got an entrepreneurial drive. You're starting businesses, but then you kind of transitioned over to like commission sales positions. Pretty much almost exclusively, you've been doing commission sales type things. Is that because it feels independent enough that you still get the juice of kind of being on your own? Do you think?
I honestly think the only difference between doing commission sales and owning your own business or starting your own business is, one, you do it your own, all the risk is on you, but you get all the benefit. The other is you're just benefiting somebody else, but it's still the same feeling. So yeah, it's still based all on your merit, how hard you work. That's sales companies out there. If you're still babysitting people, you're going to keep losing top salespeople like me, like any company I worked for, because we most salespeople do it for the freedom. I mean, that's really what it is. For the look, I can results matter. That's all that matters in sales when it comes down to it. Like, it doesn't matter what my activity is or what I did to get those results. I got the results. That's it. That's all that should matter. And I think that's where a lot of sales companies, they're like, okay, hold on, but you're making way too much money. You have way too much freedom. And why? I want to babysit you. No, 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 don't do that to your people. Like, just give them more leads or more freedom or some more stuff to sell or something. Like, don't do that. But yeah, that's really what it was. It was the freedom of, I figured out very quick, like, that's what I wanted. It was, and I'll tell you, we went from the teen dance club. Our whole drive, especially me and my youngest brother, our drive for wanting to start a business or our own thing after that never stopped. So that happened, the news, and my mom's on the news and she's like, I don't want to do this. And we're like, okay, yeah, we're not messing with this. Why people are doing hidden cameras and coming in, like, what is this? This is crazy. We're just trying to have kids, like, let them have fun and a safe place to do it. Like, nobody's getting hurt, nobody's getting in trouble. Like, it's very safe. But so we tried to stay away from that. And so, but crazy, and where I wanted to, I guess, tie this or end this story, because we're almost at 28 minutes, but um is so later, a few years later, after getting into sales and, well, doing other jobs and working for other people and being like, this sucks. Me and my brothers wanted to start actually a nightclub. So we're like, hey, alcohol. We're old enough. Alcohol is where the money is. Let's do a nightclub. We know how to do this at a teen club. Let's do a nightclub. So we have no background of money, nobody with money. We don't even understand money at this time in life, truthfully. And so we crazy as we are, we're looking for places to rent. We don't even have the money to do it, but we're looking. So we found a place downtown Cleveland. Downtown Cleveland. This guy, he's known, you look up his name, he's known as like the most well-known nightclub person in the world. His name's Henry Locanti. He owned the Agora in Cleveland. But he opened nightclubs and was known for opening nightclubs all over the United States since the 70s.
What's the Cleveland district that was it? Is it the warehouse district or something like that?
That's where the Agora is. Yeah, it's still there today. They do big concerts, and yeah, it's super known. And so we meet with this guy, Henry Locanti is his name. 80 or 90 years old. Unbelievable. He was the one wheeling and dealing with us, talking to us, walking us through. He walks us through this place that he's trying to just get off his hands. He tells us the story, just so you guys know how business works out there too. Business is readily and willy sometimes handed over for free. You find the right situation, and sometimes people just want to get it off their hands. And that was kind of the situation with this. The Henry Locanti was handed this business from this guy, wealthy guy, bought it for his daughter, was around, she started a nightclub. She didn't really want to run it. It was when LeBron James and them would rent out the spot. So it did well for a while, but then it died. And then she really didn't do anything with it. She went back to school. He bought it just to show her that it wouldn't work. His whole goal to buying it was to get her to go to school. So she went to school, but then he said, I don't want this thing, and just gave it to Henry Locanti. Henry Locanti was like, what do I want with this thing? So he then had Mike Golick and Bob Golick were supposed to open Bob Golick's Sports Bar. He met with me and my brother. We're talking to this guy. He walks us through, shows us the place. He says, I don't want to do a nightclub. I want a sports bar here. I think a sports bar would be good here. I'll give you guys the weekend. Come up with an idea for a sports bar, and we'll talk. So here's the weekend. We came up with this idea for a sports bar. We called it Timeout. Steal it. If anybody wants a sports bar idea, we called it Timeout. And it was basically, or no, not Timeout, the overtime, OT. We figured catchy was OT, calling stuff like that. So we're going to call it overtime, abbreviate it, or try to get the hype to be the OT. And basically, we wanted sports theme all around, but different things. And as games went into overtime, we'd have specials during overtime, hence overtime. And everybody is wearing the servers were wearing kind of like Foot Locker, the ref stuff. He loved it. He literally got on the phone. We came up with the idea over the weekend. He got on the phone, totally changed our idea of nightclub. He gets on the phone when we're in his office with him, telling him, pitching him our idea with Bob Golick. Me and my brother are diehard Browns fans. We're like, wow, hold on, what? Gets on the phone with him. He's at the time he was supposed to meet with him. Says, "Hey, I got these kids. I want to give them a shot first." So we actually had a chance to own that before he did. We had to come up with $50,000. I couldn't come up with it. So that's literally
What
what
a
it was.
story. So did it become Bob Golick's?
Yeah, ended up Bob Golick Sports Bar. It failed. No, I don't know. It didn't do as well as I think they wanted it to. I
Well, I
think they
mean,
ended up.
that was when Greeny and Golick were big.
Yeah. That was
They
Mike,
were
and
getting
Mike was
started. Yeah, they were.
huge.
Yeah.
And it was like, what? You're on the phone with them, and I'll never forget the one thing I learned from that lesson out of all, and this is for more of our seniors or people who like to be mentors. Your words matter. Let me tell you that. So he said to me and my brother, because he gave us like a week or two, I forget. He didn't give us long, but he gave us a little bit of time to come up with 50K. He's like, I'll finance the rest. All you got to do is come up with this. If he was going to finance to build out everything, he was really, it was the first like amazing sweetheart deal I would have had in my life, but couldn't come up with that. And but he said to me and my brother when we met, and we're like, hey, like we talked to everybody. I mean, we were meeting with people, doctors we didn't know. We were meeting with anybody. And we're like, we tried, we can't. We're so sorry. Like, thank you so much for. And he looked at us. He said, no matter what you do, I promise, in later life, sometime in life, you're going to be super successful. You are going to, and that kept me going this whole time, honestly. Was him, this amazing 90-year-old dude who's like, I couldn't believe that he was that old and just doing amazing things like he was, running the Agora still. He ran the day-to-day operation at that time. It was unbelievable.
And it's looking back is always difficult, but looking back and knowing what you know now, just think about how easy it would be to find the money that you would need to find.
I know.
Now that you've learned some lessons.
Yeah, I've learned a lot of
But
lessons.
that was a great lesson. That was a great lesson to learn early in life.
Yeah, and it was literally by living. Okay.
My jacket on.
Okay. I am so sorry. I'm coming right now. I'm mending right now. Sorry, guys. Duty is calling.
I know where you are. She does need her jacket on. It's cold.
It's cold today. It actually is cold today. It's disappointing. But yesterday we got to experience, it was 60. We went to the beach. Cooper was like, I love this. I'm like, I have to come here to love this too. When every time we go there, we're like, yes, this is why we're grinding. This is what it's for. But so find your purpose, y'all. That's the beach is our purpose. It's our calling. But yeah, it is cold today. Holy cow. It is cold today.
Yeah,
so
20 tonight. So
yeah, 27, I heard.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, hey, thank you we did go over. And see, I would have been on time if I would have ended at 28 minutes. We wouldn't be having this. But now she gets to be famous, so say hi.
Hey.
So this is Oakley. This is gonna be my youngest, but my toughest, I think. But she has all. She might be president.
Yeah, anything she wants to be. You got this, Oakley.
I'm prepping you guys. I figured out the game. We need somebody on the inside. She's my inside, so be ready, y'all. But. Anyways, yeah. Thank you, Coach, for this. And yeah, it was the journey. The experience was crazy. Learning those things that I learned kind of during that was life changing for sure. Raising kids during that, my oldest and second oldest were there when we were running the dance club. My youngest was in the in the little cafeteria area where we'd have the chips and pizza and pop, and I'm gonna give one last tip that I learned from marketing from this experience. And again, I felt bad at the time, I will tell you this, but I did hear from other people, this is how powerful marketing is, guys. Gary Vee talks about his dad would do this in the liquor store. He would raise the price and say sale real big, and people would buy it even more than when the price was lower, just because it said sale. But so, anyways, marketing, I learned the trick of, we would tell kids, hey, pop is 50 cents or two for $1. Why not just get two for $1? There was no deal. It's two for $1. It's 50 cents. But anyways, it was, they bought two, they gave it to a friend, they had fun, and yeah, we sold more. But,
I can tell you're Midwest. You called it pop. That's funny.
yeah. My wife will like that because usually I say soda, but she hates when I say soda. So it's pop. It's pop around here. But hey, this is fun, Coach. I love this. I can't wait to do more of these. So Thursday, guys, check us out. We're gonna share more stories. Hopefully, my daughter won't be screaming in the background. Till next time, guys. Thanks, Coach.
See you, DJ.
I'm always on the red eye. This time around, it's not even about getting paid. I'm just an addict for